the UFC starting off with a bang in 2024 as Conor McGregor announced his next fight against Michael Chandler at 185 pounds. A lot of question marks when that one came out. I want to know what your initial thoughts were on that, Sean.
I thought it was a joke. I'm like, hey, is this April Fool's or New Year's Day or what's going on here? Yeah, I don't know. Really weird video from McGregor at a restaurant, laughing it up,
drinking wine,
doing his thing. up to McGregor shenanigans. And yeah, at first I was like, yeah, the opponent makes sense. The weight class doesn't really make sense to me. We've seen over the last, couple of years, McGregor seems to have blown up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that's why. And he wanted the fight at 185 pounds. There's no reason for Michael Chandler to, somebody who's mostly fought at 155, done some early catch weight bouts, early welterweight fight, but mostly lightweight in his entire career. There's no reason for him to want to go up to 185 except to, cash that check.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a joke, and I'm glad it's not. I think it's a hell of a fight, but yeah, I thought he was kidding.
Well, what's weird is, like, at the time of recording, McGregor is the only one who has said this.
Yeah.
Right? We haven't heard from Dana. We haven't seen the UFC put out the graphic with the render. There's no card even announced or fight pay-per-view number associated with this. He just said it. And because of who it is, and it's Conor McGregor, Chandler got into it. And so I guess it seems like it's official. But right now, we don't even know, is it 185? Is it even a real fight? We really just don't know.
No, I've seen McGregor come out on Twitter and challenge just about everybody to a fight before. Usually not in a video. Usually it's just an offhand comment, offhand tweet. I do think it's the fight to make. Again, he said International Fight Week in June, but that is in July. Maybe he just got that mixed up. Again, I'm not 100% this bout is happening. I'd be thrilled if it does get made. Great for the UFC, great for the fans. Gotta get him back in here and milk him for what he's worth before he retires. Because, he should be done, in my opinion. There's no reason for him to fight anymore. He's done what he had to do. Two division champion. And now he's suffered some injuries. A lot of things that he's done allegedly outside of the octagon that we won't get into, but things that can't be ignored. And I don't think he should be fighting anymore. Just go away, enjoy your money, have fun. But I'll still watch it.
Well, it's cool because you have to imagine a guy that's been that successful in the sport, that's made that much money, that's pretty much done everything on the bucket list in the fight world, wants to come back. So you got to look at that as, obviously he has some sort of internal motivation to come back, given that he has all these things going for him, but he still wants to fight. Obviously the mindset of a fighter in any sport is just crazy to think that you want to go in there and scrap. And obviously when you're at the bottom and trying to work your way up, there's a lot more of a hungry mentality. So when he's already at the top and on these yachts and drinking wine and doing all these rich, expensive things, the fact that he wants to get back to the octagon makes me think that this will be a hungry and motivated Conor McGregor like we've seen in years past.
I'm not buying it. I want to see it. I want to see the work getting put in. Again, he's coming off a broken leg. He's got a rod in there now, I'm sure. 2 losses to Poirier, lost to Khabib before that. He beat Donald Cerrone. Like that wasn't a real, it looked the old shoulder shrug special, but wasn't super impressed. We saw what happened to Donald Cerrone at the end of his career, glass chin. That being said, Michael Chandler has only won, 2 of his 5 UFC fights, but his 3 losses, Gaethje, Oliveira, and Poirier. Yeah. So three huge contenders and former champions in there as well, right? So, and a current BMF champion as well. So it's going to be a great fight. I give the edge to Chandler just on somebody who's been more active over the last few years, somebody who has that wrestling advantage that, he could take the fight to the ground if you want. You've seen fighters be successful against McGregor in doing that. Poirier finished him on the ground with some strikes, but that was more due to knocking him down and then knocking him out. Khabib submitted him. Nate Diaz submitted him back in the day. Mm-hmm. So, there's been some instances there where Chandler can get on top of him and finish him on the ground. So I like Chandler in this fight. I think it's a hell of a fight. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see what happens. But I don't know. I'll wait and see because I'm still not sold that it's actually going to happen.
That's the thing. I think the fact that the UFC and Dana have been so quiet about it makes me really question, is this just McGregor being the internet troll? We've seen him call out Hasbulla to fight on Twitter, right? So we didn't see that one come to fruition. What makes me think we're going to get this one? But the fact that they were coaches on The Ultimate Fighter. Obviously, this fight had been discussed previously. Michael Chandler's been very vocal about pushing for this fight, and I don't blame him. I mean, we've seen the infamous red panty nights in the UFC before, fighting Conor McGregor, International Fight Week, Las Vegas. That pay-per-view is going to do a ton of buys. So for Michael Chandler, I see this as a win-win. You know, if he beats Conor McGregor in impressive fashion, he probably catapults way up there in the lightweight rankings just purely off of hype. You know, he has had some losses, but if you get a nice win against a guy like Conor McGregor, they'll probably put him in the title contention, absolutely. And then if he loses, I mean, this is probably the biggest payday of his UFC career. So for Chandler, I see this as a win-win.
Yeah, definitely a win-win for Chandler. Again, especially if he wins, I could see him getting up there in the lightweight rankings. Again, he's already fought that top flight competition, so he does belong there. He has lost to those guys. I think lightweight is the toughest division. But again, this fight's happening in 185. How that comes down to the 155 rankings. I mean, it does and it doesn't, because again, it's UFC, it's a business. Yeah. You knock out Conor McGregor, or you win against Conor McGregor, you have more name value. You're going to go up a little bit. You're going to have a good fight coming up, especially if you're putting in a good performance. I'm just worried about, what's next for Conor McGregor, do you think? You know what I mean? Like, do you think he sticks around if he wins? Do you think he sticks around if he loses? I'm not sold on, Conor McGregor. I've never been his biggest fan. I don't know if he has the hunger anymore. I don't know. Try and sell me on that, because I don't think he's coming back for a long-term period here.
I think, the game has changed so much since McGregor's been out. So you got to think that obviously he's going to dictate his terms when he comes into this fight. But that's a great question. Is a McGregor win mean he's back and he's going to fight 3 times this year? Or is this a one-off like we saw GSP a few years ago?
Yeah.
I would imagine it's a one-off, but you never know. I mean, McGregor gets an impressive victory. We might be sitting here in a few months going, well, when's the next McGregor fight? And so whether you love him or you hate him, you're going to buy this pay-per-view. You're going to have your friends over. You're going to go to the sports bar to watch it, to either watch McGregor get knocked out or have a return of the Notorious One and, a nostalgic performance from Conor McGregor. So I think his drawing power alone will sell this fight, but that is a great question. What's next for Conor McGregor after this fight?
Yeah, and again, is it at 185? Is that 170? Is that 155? Is that 145? This guy's a mystery. I could see him, if he wins, I think he sticks around. I think you're right. If he loses, I think maybe he goes off and boxes one of the Paul brothers, does something crazy like that. I don't think, again, when you're Conor McGregor, you kind of call the shots. You're not bigger than the UFC, but if anybody was close to, it'd be him, in my opinion. Yeah. So looking forward to maybe this fight if it happens, and when it happens, still, again, not confirmed, as you've been saying. And again, I'll just, cross my fingers, hope that it does, because I'll be watching and I'll be entertained by it. But yeah, until I see them in the cage, with it's closed and they ring the bell, I'm a little skeptical.
For sure. And I think the 185 is where all the question marks come in, where we're like, really, is this going to happen? The fact that Dana has been so quiet about it, the UFC has been very quiet about it. But I do think we'll see this fight come to fruition. International Fight Week Vegas does seem like a perfect spot to have a return for a guy like McGregor. And like you said, this is going to be an entertaining fight, win, lose, or draw for both guys. And I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Let's go. International Fight Week usually is a banger. They already have on the heels of UFC 300, and he could make UFC 300. But this is a fight where you can just sell it on Conor McGregor alone. You don't even really need a great undercard.
No.
You can just put together, it'll still be a great undercard because it's UFC Fight Week. But it's going to be a hell of a fight. Let's go. Let's do it.
Well, a lot to look forward to for the UFC in 2024 with UFC 300, but even more to look forward to in the summer when we see the return of Conor McGregor.